Live. Oh, I hear myself. Ooh, that's awkward. Hello all, Twitch chat and YouTube audience. We are having the Ancient Gods Part 1 any percent restricted tutorial, aka no major glitches, but with a cooler name. Today, to show us how to do this tutorial, will be the illustrious Quarth and Drake.
Hello.
So yeah, in a quick second, y'all will be running through the tag 1 restricted route. Anything they should know before y'all start diving into gameplay?
Yes, this tutorial will be focused more towards intermediate players. A lot of terms are going to be thrown out, but there are going to be some pieces of tech that base game doesn't really get the chance to dwell on that we will explain, but most of the tech that we'll be using in this run is expected of the viewer to already know. If you don't know that, head on to the Discord and feel free to ask any questions.
I hear that Bloodshot fellow also has a tutorial to where he goes over a lot of the basic tech y'all will be using too.
Yes, his videos are really good, and I suggest you check those out.
We're not going to be covering basics like how to bunny hop, lure chop, BBH.
Yeah, we're going to assume you. We're going to assume
we are going to cover things that are like a little newer and are more common in tag. Like for example, bats isn't used that often in campaign, especially any percent. So we're going to cover how to do that. Maybe a little bit of how punch boosting works, but not so much.
Okay, yeah. So you heard that right, folks. Should already have this like relatively set up, aka if you're on PC, binding your jump to scroll wheel. Doing all that stuff. If you have any questions on setup, join our Discord, watch the Bloodshot tutorial. That'll be cool. But without further ado, Drake and Quarth, take it away, buddies.
All right.
Thank you, Retro.
What we're going to be showcasing today is what I'm going to be doing mainly is the classic category. But if you're interested in the Ultra Nightmare, DrakePHOSE here will be mentioning different things that are different about the category that you want to be doing in Ultra Nightmare. So you will still get tips regarding that.
If you're wondering which one is if you're wondering if Ultra Nightmare is a big difference, it isn't actually. Ultra Nightmare is a very similar run. You do have to make some changes though, however, but we'll cover those.
The first thing that you do once you start the run is you gotta, after you press continue, you gotta enter a cutscene and you wanna immediately exit out of it, and then to the dossier. As you can see, we're going right to the codex instead of the map because we're actually gaining a codex, I believe, about UACA.
Yes.
And because of that, it allows us to go right to the runes with a single button. And from then on, you want to be pressing down, space, and then put the air controller rune in the second slot. Because savagery will be used later in the run.
Yes, it will be used mainly for 2 buff totems. But another thing you also want to do, it depends. If you're worried about BFG crashes, you actually want to put it into the 3rd slot, because then blood fueled, when you have blood fueled active, there's a higher chance that you BFG crash. Extremely high chance compared to not having it.
As you
in
can
Ultra Nightmare, we would only get we would do this slightly differently. For safety, we can grab a few runes. We can grab Dazed and Confused. Or we can grab Equipment Fiend, which is my personal preference.
You would go this.
Yep. And then...
So you would go just this rune to the 2nd slot.
Yes.
Down right.
Slot, Equipment Fiend 3rd.
To the Equipment Fiend, and then to the 3rd slot.
Yeah. You can also grab the rune that gives you that blood punch gives you health if you're really worried about safety, but Equipment Fiend does have some advantages.
As you can see here, if I go into the menu a second time, I don't actually have the ability to go right to the runes, and spacebar doesn't seem to work anymore, which also happens if you have tutorials on. So if you're wondering why spacebar works, that's probably why.
Yeah, there's some funkiness with, if you have the tutorial on, I was experiencing this the other day. If you have the tutorial on, for some reason the spacebar doesn't work and you're not put on codexes right away. So that's another, you should have tutorials off anyway, since they'll pop up randomly in the middle of the game and cost you time, but there's just another reason there. And if you're wondering why, maybe it's because you downpatched or repatched the game, and whenever you change patches to 1.3 to the patch that we're running on, or you should probably be running on.
3.1.
The tutorial will be re-enabled. We should actually cover that. You can actually play this category on pretty much any patch, really. You might have to do some extra fights in later patches, but if you're just starting out, I wouldn't really worry about spending the hour or two that it takes to downpatch. So you can actually play this on later patches if you want. And if you're playing on later patches, then you don't have to worry about blood fuel, because that bug is fixed.
And really quickly, for the rest of this tutorial, we're going to give ourselves infinite ammo and no target, just so it'll be easier on my sanity. Once you do have your runes upgraded and set up, you hook off of this person, kill these two. As he's jumping down, you want to be switching to lock on burst, and you'll have like a second to ice bomb him, flame belch, and then punch swap him to death. Once he dies, you'll have two soldiers coming out, jumping in over here. As they're jumping, you want to be hitting them both. A Hell Knight will, as the Hell Knight spawns, lock on burst this person, this Revenant. Hit him once with a precision bolt. Kill both of these, either with one super shotgun shot to the middle or just headshot blast. And as this Hell Knight is following you, charge your D-Blade and bunny hop over to this place. And if you are smart, unlike me, and you naded the Revenant as you bunny hop through here, you can get everyone basically with this one D-Blade.
Also, the nade should hit the Hell Knight. That's the reason we precision bolt the first Hell Knight, because one D-Blade isn't enough to kill a Hell Knight. So we precision bolt him while we're there, and then as he follows us, we finish him off with the D-Blade. Do you want to show that entire sequence from beginning to end? Just,
yes. We'll go back in and do that again in full speed. Making sure that no target is off. Sometimes the Hell Knight jumps in here, that's fine. Just PB him as you go up. Once you're down here in Ultra Nightmare, you'd charge D-Blade as you're jumping down, because these monsters do not make it safe to traverse here. And
you actually want to jump before you throw that D-Blade. It makes the spacing on it easier. Like, you charge the D-Blade, land, jump, and then shoot. That way it doesn't hit that rail that you're looking at.
This rail here.
Yeah, there's a chance that it hits that rail, and it'll still hit the Mancubus in the back. If you're super dodeca lucky, the carcass in the back will run into the D-Blade as well, and all you'll have to do is kill the Mancubus. But
If
usually
you're-
that doesn't happen, so
Yeah.
you just kill the Mancubus and kill the carcass.
If you're in Classic, you just come in, door open, door breaks, Dread Knight comes in, Ballista boost over to here. As you can see, the D-Blade still hit him. You can kill the carcass if you want. It's not really required in Classic. Now that we're here, this keycard, we're gonna grab it without grabbing the trigger, because the box that is the trigger for this next fight is ever so slightly smaller than the hitbox of this keycard. So what we're gonna do is look at this little line here and make sure we do not step over to this side of it, and just walk forward, getting the blue keycard. And as you can see, the fight did not trigger. From here, you just Ballista boost over to there, and usually we'd want to ramp jump up from here. Even if you get one that's not the best, you can still mantle onto this, so it's perfectly fine. You can dash into there, and from there you can make sure to aim this ballista slightly lower than eye level, because behind this Mancubus there will be two shield soldiers that are going to spawn, and they're required. So you got to make sure to kill both of them as well. From here we have two Cybermanks left. You can go like that to this one, and the next one we chainsaw. From here, press the button, switch to ARB, and here comes a little bit of a dash boost. We're gonna skip this thing very smoothly, and you'd want to kill these two. And
Yeah, you want to kill these two as you're hooking up to the dash boost that he's about to do. You want to nade.
in this
You
dash,
also want to break the turret while you're in air.
yeah, because then he can murder you.
Yeah.
In Classic, none of these are required, so you can just jump up here. When you do this dash boost, you wanna, to make it a bit more consistent, you want to stay a little bit to the right of this little box. Continue pressing forward and jump, and before you're nearing the end of your jump, ballista backwards into the direction of this wall. From here you can jump ballista and do that. Make sure to grab this chainsaw, go up here, and from here there's going to be actually a trick to skip all over to there. But I'm going to let Drake showcase that one. If you could open up a stream on Discord.
Am I not streaming? Oh, it
Yeah.
closed. Excuse me. There
Oh
we go.
no. As the stream opens, unfortunately I don't have the FPS required to do this generally, but the basics is that you want to be
I think my stream's
standing
open, I can show you.
not in this corner. You want to be going on top of this little wheel and standing on like a slightly higher corner. You see how this is like around, this is eye level. Stand on this, stare at this dot, and if you actually have the FPS to make this consistent, which is about like 200 and above, you can do something like that.
Oh, you don't even need me. I should
Oh
just
my god, I don't even... That was very lucky. I did not expect to get that so smoothly. If you actually... If you aim in the correct direction, you can actually end up over in this place. Like, around, above this, like, line. And you can hit this button in midair, which is very nice and makes you feel very cool. If not, feel free to go onto this platform or even bunny hop off of this platform to send you instantly to this little monkey bar and shoot yourself off from there. And not bonk on this random thing.
Yeah, you actually want to be a little lower. If you want, I can demonstrate.
It's fine. From here, there's a little bit of a jump that we do. You want to be standing around the edge here. I just like to go to the very edge. Look, not too far above, but like almost a 45-degree angle from where you're standing. Make sure to press both A and D to go diagonally, and then jump. And you should be able to get right up to here.
Before we continue, there's a thing you want to do differently in Ultra Nightmare for this entire sequence.
True.
Also, it'd be a good time to touch on bats as well. So, do you want to switch to me?
All right.
So, with these extra kills here, the reason we're doing them is because we don't touch any despawn triggers. So we have to kill these guys, and then as we're hooking up, kill those. We're not killing them just because they're dangerous. We just need to break the turret. Once you get up here, you can speed up the ballista boosting over there by performing bats, which is a complicated tech, but basically all you really need to know is that before you switch to the ballista, just switch mods.
Switch mods and then immediately press the ballista key before the animation of the mod switching has a chance to take place.
You'll know it worked because here's the regular bring up animation for the ballista speed. Here's bats. It's a little faster. That's how you can tell you've got the proper state. What's the difference? Well, here's punch canceling without bats. Okay, that's the speed. Here's with bats. It's a little faster. So like Quarth said, you do want to get into this corner, and you want to aim at this, and you can tell if you've got it, because if you don't go in the correct corner, that'll be way too high. Just like he said, get in the corner, and then I'm going to hold forward, punch.
Make
over here.
Make sure to be pressing forward right before punching because if not, the punch boost will not actually work.
Yeah, the punch boosts work best when you hold forward. So, unfortunately for Ultra Nightmare, we can't spawn these guys. Well, we can, but it would be slow because we can't despawn these demons. So instead, what we will do instead is we will go do the punch boost. Oopsie, hitting the wrong button. And instead of going straight to the fan, we're going to drop over here. And this fan is actually active. We're just going to come up here. We're going to do this little lineup where we look down. And once this gap here between this and this opens up here, just when it opens up, you want to stop moving. So like about there. Okay? Then you turn around, and you're going to get a bonk here. And we're going to Ballista Boost.
Two Ballista
Boosts over
should
this
be...
trigger.
2 Ballista Boosts should be perfect.
Yeah, 2 Ballista Boosts is the perfect amount. Although if you don't have Ballista Boost, that's fine. Just make sure to not go out of bounds in both of these instances. If you wanna follow, there are death planes underneath this entire path that we take. So all the way over here, and over here. You can't go straight from there all the way over there. I think maybe it's possible with enough ballista ammo, but I'm not sure. Basically, you do that. You come over here, you do that, and then you bonk. There is a chance that you fly out of bounds here, right? In which case, you'd have to reload checkpoint or reset. But then once you land here, none of the revenants should be spawned if you did this properly. If they spawn, then you might be in trouble. You might have to reset because the later fights are going to be slower due to the mob cap.
All right.
There you go.
So, after we did all of that, we have a little fight. And at the beginning of this fight, there's going to be a neat little trick. This portal, once you see that circle, as it begins, you see how that... Oh, he got stuck in geometry. You see how after the black circle almost ended its animation, there was a little red circle that's above it that's supposed to be like the end goal basically of where the portal needs to go. When like you need to be anticipating that and shooting the ice bomb right before that happens, right as it happens basically. It's much harder to reload checkpoint because you're located at a very annoying place, but if you do it right, you can actually get that Baron to get stuck out of bounds. Not basically out of bounds, but inside of this geometry. And because it doesn't have collision until he enters here, he just falls through the map and dies. I did this, it's possible, the best place to see this would be my or DrakePHOSE's BB on speedrun.com. It's very hard to replicate once you reload checkpoint because it displaces, it puts you in a position that's not exactly favorable.
It's not the same as the one you'd have in your runs. It's just a little uncomfortable.
Even if you don't get it, aim for PB headshots. That'll speed up the kill much faster. And both precision bolt and SSG headshots. Now to the actual fight. Let me put on no target here so I can more clearly showcase where everything is. After you've hopefully done this or just shot him, there's going to be a incubus up here, blood punch. Our carcass will spawn up there. You want to be anticipating it and spawn camming it. From here, there's
going to take a while for the carcass to spawn. It's
going to take a little bit for the carcass to actually spawn, so make sure you'll see the red hue that happens before he actually comes into existence. After you kill him, meat hook that carcass to make sure it stays stunned. Here,
also from UN, it'll give you some extra armor. For
some extra very useful armor. You can slob this Baron very fast. From here, sometimes they will get closer together and the splash damage can hit the second one, which is very nice. Chainsaw this pain elemental, and then he will be there all the time. You can do this thing right here with a few very nice looking punch cancels. From there, you can just kill everyone that's left. Feel free to spend a few rockets, but not too many, because we're saving them for the final fight.
Same with UN, you kind of want to... You can spend a few extra more rockets in UN, because you're going to see us do a fight later that Classic doesn't, like, we'll chainsaw him. But in Classic, you actually want to be a little cagey with your rockets, whereas in UN, you can be a little bit more.
In an actual run, the enemies will be a bit closer to you, and will try to crowd around you. In UN, make sure to not to underestimate shield soldiers, because even if they don't kill you, the armor you have is precious for Blood Punch. So try to steer clear of those guys, and don't be and even if they respawn in some annoying location, don't be afraid to take them out early if they can ruin your life. From here,
we'll be able to get Blood Punch later with some stuff, but we only really need one after this point.
Here's a Marauder. You saw that how the shield ticked as if it was taking damage. That red little tick. Let me showcase it here. Once you see that red, that red outline around the edges of the shield, you'll know the Marauder hit and can no longer enter in bounds, which means from there you can just dash into here and go to the button. Once you've pressed that button, you won't gain control of your character until a little bit. Once you do, dash twice, you'll be it around here.
You can actually hold dash while the black screen is happening, and you'll just dash as soon as you can.
That's also a thing. I like to do this, and you need to go to this plane right here. Let me show it off a little bit with no clip. As you can see, these little crates here, that's going to be our indicator. You need to, whatever way you choose to get there, you need to go to the death plane here that's behind these crates. Doesn't matter if you're here, doesn't matter if you're here, doesn't matter if you're even over there. As long as you're behind these crates, you'll teleport here and skip the fight. From here, you can activate bats again. Get over to this wall. And we're gonna do a little pause boosting. This tutorial...
Before you start, let me just cover the UN adjustments, because there are some there.
Oh, true, there are some.
Yeah. Did my stream up? Did Discord close it again? It is not. Alright, so with this, we actually want to kill this guy. So we can't exactly do what Quarth is doing. So instead, what we do is we set up bats, come over here, and then we do a bats punch canceling over here. And just to save on some HP, we pull out Energy Shield. Then we actually set up bats while the black screen is happening during the Death Warp. You can also do it with Energy Shield. You don't have to do it with Heavy Cannon. You can do it with Energy Shield, Heavy Cannon, and Plasma Rifle. And then we're going to double dash backwards. We're going to double dash diagonally and backwards. 1, 2, 1, 2.
To grab a chainsaw fuel.
Yeah, we're grabbing that chainsaw fuel over there. Right here. So we're dashing back, forward, and then we're going to do bats here. And then we get up, and then we do pretty much exactly the same pause boost that that Classic does. It's important we get that chainsaw, because it makes the fight upcoming... our ammo is a little bit better. It's kind of actually important that you pick up that chainsaw.
Before I do the pause boost, I need to make sure to explain something. The trigger walls we're going to be going over are basically a continuation of this rail over there, like a wall over here, and there's also a wall over here. We used to do we used to go up above this one, but we can just go. But we figured out all of these walls are basically the same height, so it doesn't matter really where you go. Just make sure that the walls are similar in height to that little notch, basically. But we're gonna get there via pause boosting. If you're struggling with that's a good way to know that you have not done it correctly.
Yeah.
In this case, you probably reset, because it's not a very long level and This trick saves a lot of time.
Yeah, it would save a BFG too.
And I am not good at this game. But it's fine.
The key to it, the inputs you want to go for is you want to jump, second jump, and then shoot your first ballista shot. And you want to, this is a little bit tight of a boost, so you want to tab as soon as you can. So you want to exit to,
this is pretty tight. If you're struggling with pause boosting, I suggest that right after you switch your mods, you take off your, you take your hand off of WASD, and then use whatever fingers you like to press escape and tab with however fast you can. I like ring finger and thumb to just press them as fast as possible. That usually helps me out. If you're really struggling with this, feel absolutely free to use 3 ballista boosts instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ballista...
should we show them the old strat where you'd spawn the Dread Knights?
Sure. We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
If you're really struggling with pause boosts, then there is another method. It's a little bit slower because you have to wait for these few Dread Knights. And
it's not viable in UN at least.
Yeah.
You have to kill the Dread Knights right after you use them. So
because of spawn
you're
cap.
spawning more
Freeze this guy. Meat hook up. And it's pretty simple. I go over this wall out of muscle memory because I did it back when we didn't know that you can go off of this as well. So I'd suggest you go over like straight to here because we want to be grabbing these plasma pickups before we go.
Pretty important that actually.
Very important. These few pickups are very valuable and in both categories. Now let me just kill these two so they don't annoy me. Oh, the door opened.
Probably should reload checkpoint.
Yeah, I'll reload checkpoint. This upcoming fight, I'm gonna say it like soon as I'm going over to here. In Classic, we skip it, but UN actually does it because it spawns too many enemies, and it can.
We'll get to UN. You can cover the skip first.
Yeah. First thing we do, open the door, jump up to here, ballista boost. You see this thing over here? There's a dash boost off of it, and you can go right into there. I actually think we should be grabbing these pickups as well. Especially in Classic, because we chainsaw a little bit less than UN. But just for the sake of showcase, I'm going right over to here. If you're not doing a showcase like me and you actually go do that whole skip fast, that door will stay open as you bunny hop into it, even if you take time to grab these pickups. So you can just very casually go through the open door. The thing with this trick is that we're not skipping the spawn of the monsters, we're skipping the trigger that locks this door. Because the door will stay unlocked before we enter the fight, but only once we pass a certain trigger will it close. By doing that whole fancy thing, we're making sure it never closes and just waltzing on our way through. And before Drake does the funny and show us how to do that fight in UN, I'm gonna make sure to note that you do need to reload for spawn cap in Classic once you get back down into this underwater section.
Do you want to explain the timing to avoid the black screen? DBS?
I'm not as knowledgeable about that as you, so I think I'll let you do that.
So when you exit the menu, you want to while you're switching to me. So when you exit the menu, to avoid the ABS, you wait till that loading thing at the bottom there disappears, and as soon as that happens, you hit down and then hold space. And if you do it fast enough, then you'll avoid the extended black screen.
Right.
You could also just wait. You could also just exit the menu and just wait for a little bit, to avoid the black screen. Waiting, and then hit continue. If you now that our auto splitter properly detects the DBS, then you'll lose time on this.
But that's less cool. Also,
What?
do you mind closing and reopening stream because it's a little pixelated? Much better. Oh, okay, yeah, much better.
So may I explain the fight?
Yes.
This fight here? So this fight, we kind of have to do it. You can skip it, but it's really tight, and you have to kill some stuff in it anyway. Like you'll have to kill both of these revenants. No target. So there's a few ways to do this fight, but I think the best one in general is to make sure you have D-Blade out. So after you do the pause boost, you drop down, switch to D-Blade as you're picking up this. And then what I do is I ballista boost in, I pre-fire this sticky, and right as this eyeball pops out, kill it, and then I start charging D-Blade. And by this time, all of the things have dropped. On my way over to the eyeball, I pick up this fuel, and then we chainsaw this guy. And then a few zombies will usually run over here, and we clean them up, and the door opens. You could instead come over here and D-Blade like this, but what you'll find oftentimes that this is a bit random. You will get the turret with this, but unfortunately, sometimes the revenants won't jump down, you won't get all the soldiers. So I'm going to demonstrate this fight now, just in full speed. So, we'll do this. Words are just words, turret. That's how quick you can do the turret.
That was a very, very cool pre-fire. And yeah, this fight is really quick.
So it's not as fast as classic, but it's pretty close, and it does have the advantage that we're actually really nicely filled up on rockets, which is actually going to help us later. Which is why back all the way in that cargo storage fight with the two barons, the one that we Slayer Elsa out of bounds, and the other one, and the final Doom Hunter. That's why we don't use as many rockets in classic, because we don't do this chainsaw. Whereas in UN we would do this chainsaw. So that's why.
All right.
And then I think this is relatively new, but underwater you can dash diagonally, and it's actually a little bit faster.
Right, that is important. Dashing diagonally underwater seems to be a little faster.
Yeah.
All right.
Carry on.
So once we are in here, making sure we have D-Blade out, these things in the hallway actually form a combo boost. What I mean by that is both a wall dash and a dash boost.
Oh, we would love to do more wall dashes in this level, but unfortunately only the underground section, this underwater section, excuse me, has walls that are wall dashable. There is one wall up there that we found that's wall dashable, but isn't useful in this category. So
yeah, unfortunately,
we're finally going to be able to use wall dashes once we get down here.
Almost all of the geo on top is either too sticky to wall dash off of, or just slanted, just tilted, like me. So to do this combo boost, you just need to jump once and dash diagonally, and you get a lot of speed. Let me just bop and bop. So from here, you can falter this Mancubus just so he won't annoy you too much. From here, you can go like that, and on these guys, you want to charge a level 2 D-Blade, not a level 3, because level 3 would waste way too much ammo. Sometimes these guys would usually walk forward in actual runs, but because I have no target on, they don't. Even if they don't, yeah, the turret also pops out, and a 2-charge D-Blade also kills it. If they don't, that's fine. Just PB them in the head or in the body, and they die. Dreadnought over here, Dreadnought over here. Super shotgun this guy. He's way too far, and it's very luck dependent how close he is, so I don't like to rely on grenades. Cancel out the lock-on burst for for a PB and shoot this thing to get a few more rockets. Get close to these three. Grenade, ice bomb, flame belch. And from here you can actually get a few headshots and the kill is much faster. Unfortunately, these turrets never actually allow themselves to die, so I'm gonna kill AI to get rid of those. And after he's close to death or dead, you ballista out. Hopefully after you kill this Dread Knight, you grab these two pickups before lock on canceling the other guy. Make sure to grab these rockets because on Classic we're a little low. Make sure to not get bitten by the shark, although it is pretty funny. Ballista first, you'll still retain the momentum.
Can I spin you in? It is a little different.
After I'm gonna do the elevator skip.
Okay, sure. We'll come back to it.
From here, there's a little thingy over here, which we wanna dash boost off of into this wall. Jump. 2 revenants up there. Usually they'll be shooting at you and screaming. That's fine. We want to head up to this stair. Ballista up to this thing, and we have another dash boost and a hook.
Pick up the fuel.
And pick up the fuel. Now, if you didn't mess it up like me, and even if you did, you should be mindful that you are able to put another ballista boost in just to get that extra little bit of height. It also gives me an excuse to do this again at full speed. Like so. And from now, we'll let Drake explain the UN routing.
So UN, it's a little bit different on the fight down below. We just ballista boost over here, and then we pull out the energy shield.
Do the combo boost.
Yeah. Then we can do the wall dash for the combo boost. Here, same thing. D-blade. Kill that. Pick up the plasma. Usually the Dread Knight gets close enough. Like before we we do course strat there where we nade an ice bomb, but we do it a little differently. So instead of doing the SSG stuff, we do some lock on slob work. Let me see if I can explain it in slow-mo. Oopsie, missed the turret. Let's do no target. Kill AI. So yeah, we lock on, nade that guy if he's close. If not, we just finish him off. The nade also has a benefit of blowing up the barrel. And then as this dude's spawning, we charge D-blade. Throw ice bomb and nade. Shoot PB rocket slob. 1, 2. Switch to ballista and then leave.
That was the old route before I decided to just SSG PB him with headshots.
Yeah. We do that because we have the rockets to do so. Because of the chainsaw. So let me do that full speed. Words are just words. We kill them while we turn around. It's actually very important that we pick up rockets in both categories. We pick up these rockets because in the final fight, it's going to speed it up tremendously. Slight differences here again. We don't really, just avoid the shark. Something we should probably mention is that there is a way to soft lock over here if you do a combo boost.
Right.
You actually want to go a little slower and do the and do a simple ballista boost. You don't want to try and risk a wall dash here. Just want a ballista boost here. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems. If you're an Ultra Nightmare and you're scared, of course, don't be afraid. Come down here and grab this. Especially if you don't have Blood Punch, you're going to want to grab that. You need at least one Blood Punch coming up. Then we do the same thing over here. And then we're going to pull out our energy shield because it's spooky. If you're fast, you won't have enough for the ice bomb, but the energy shield is fine. You do the same thing Quarth does here. Boost.
Those revenants can be very scary on Ultra Nightmare.
Yeah, those revenants can be very, very scary. If you're fast enough, you won't have the ice bomb, but the energy shield should keep you alive, and the mega should keep you alive. If you take some damage, don't worry about it, because upcoming we're going to fight the Marauders, and if you do it properly, your HP won't drop below 200. Your armor will completely disappear if something goes wrong, but your HP should be high enough that you'll be able to. Super heavies always drop health drops. It doesn't matter. So you'll be able to usually get enough for one blood punch, and that's all we need for this upcoming fight. One blood punch. So don't worry about taking too much damage from the revs. Just don't die.
All right.
It's the most
So I'm gonna show. Let's just make sure I don't have no target on. All right. These two Marauders are gonna spawn. We want to sit over here. Once this guy opens up, we want a BFG and hopefully do it a bit better than that.
That actually should have worked.
That should have worked. The timing here is a little bizarre. We haven't figured out the science of it because I do most of it by feel. That one I just missed the ballista shot entirely.
You can actually, by the way, you can actually shoot that Marauder before he turns green.
You can, but
Yeah, and it's very consistent, very safe. But Quarth is gonna play a little safer here, and I think it's better for a newer player to learn it this way. But yeah, this is very.
as you can see, that guy didn't dash away. That's because we actually timed the BFG in order to shoot him as he was opening up and doing a green eyes attack of his own, which allowed the entire splash damage of the BFG to hit him, putting him at a health that kills him in one measly SSG shot. If he doesn't die from the SSG shot, he's almost every single time at a glory kill state, waiting for a precision bolt to finish him off.
Yeah. I think you lost the checkpoint, so if you want to switch to me, I can redo it for you. Just to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
If you reload here, you won't be able to fight the Marauders.
I think I didn't lose the checkpoint because the checkpoint takes like a second to.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, okay.
All
right.
The checkpoint takes a second, but Drake needs to show off as well.
All right, sure. I mean, all right, I'll do it then. So you come over here. We stand here, like you said, and I said you could actually shoot them before there. They didn't even turn green, and I don't want to kill them because then I'll lose the checkpoint. But you get the idea. Very, very, very simple. Now there is some chance that there's some wankery that can happen where they'll run away or they'll shoot you twice. Don't worry about it. Just boom, and it should be fine. If that happens to you, you can actually kind of get away. If your FPS is high enough, you can actually kind of just get away with like shooting the BFG into the air. It's happened to me a few times where, oops, missed, and then I just shoot that BFG, and then you can carry on the fight. See, that guy took a ton of damage. Right, you can do the normal fight normally. So like, it's actually quite lenient, this BFG, if you mess it up. Just because of how awesome the BFG is at higher FPS. I don't know how well this would work at lower FPS, but this strat is simple enough. The biggest worry is if they just run away. Now, of course, I'm recording and I'm at a tutorial, so they're behaving perfectly fine, but you'll regularly see it where they don't behave. And if that's the case, you can actually still salvage it with a random BFG, like into the sky or something like that.
Don't worry about not hitting it if you're struggling with that at first. Unless you're really pushing for times, it won't be too big of a problem.
Yeah.
But upcoming here is a very interesting fight. After the Marauder dies, you want to make sure you grab this chainsaw fuel, jump up to here, grab, if one of the Marauders didn't die immediately and you had to spend some SSG, you have almost a full recharge. You have a full recharge for Classic and almost a full recharge for Ultra Nightmare.
We'll have full recharge for Ultra Nightmare.
Alright, good. So while they're spawning, there's one guy here, one guy here. You want to slob this person, this mank, SSGPB this mank, ballista jump up, grenade, blood punch, and actually SSG punch is a bit faster. Grab the 3 rockets here. There's a Mancubus right here. He will usually follow this path to you. Sometimes he likes to go over here to try to go over here. If you're too slow, he might be over here already jumping. That's fine. Get away from him in SSGPB. But usually you'll be able to slob him from a distance. Make sure to punch as well, because if you don't punch, it can sometimes still continue shooting more rockets.
Yeah, or lock on cancel.
Yeah, or lock on cancel. On this guy, you can grenade and lock on rockets.
He'll usually be closer.
He'll
so you
usually
can
be
just-
closer. If he's not closer and the grenade isn't reaching, you can lock on cancel into a PB. That'll kill him as well. Spider over here. Simple. And by the time you're already here, this guy that has spawned when this guy spawned, probably be a little closer to here, with a few guys coming around. So if you're scared, feel absolutely free to freeze and chainsaw, because we're going to be chainsawing him another way. Oh nice, the Prowler exploded. From here there's a very annoying phase which we're not going to deal with. Make sure to grab this. Baron here, Carcass there, and Carcass there. We want to be shooting at this place because, let me just show it. This Carcass stands right in the perfect spot for D-Blade's very long range to kill him. From after that guy dies, grenade, kill, second Baron. From now you should have Ice Bomb. D-Blade both of them. Using the health from Ice Bomb, you should gain enough Blood Punch to punch cancel this tyrant. And slob this guy as much as you can. I usually have about 7 to 8 rockets once I'm by this point. Then just PB. Now that you're in the last stage of the fight, in an actual run, all of the imps will bull rush towards you, get pretty crowded. Some of them will die because of the D-Blade, some of them may die to some explosions on the way, but overall they will be pretty close together by the end of this fight. I like to stay over here, keep watch on all the angles, make sure I don't miss any imps, and once I see the last one dies, on this wall there is a wall dash that we can do to get right to the end. It helps because instead of having to go to anticipate the last imp and run a gamble on whether it is actually the last imp or not, we can get enough speed from this wall dash to give us the ability to play it safe and not lose time. On this specific wall dash, you want to be double jumping so you can actually get the B-hop from here. If you jump once, it's still possible, but it's a bit less speed because bunny hopping gives us, each time we bunny hop gives us more speed, and it's also a little bit annoying if you like jump too soon. You can get onto here. Sometimes you can just go like that. I like to just mitigate that, just not deal with it. Double jump, bop. Even as you're double jumping, make sure to not accidentally mantle on here, like that. Make sure your crosshair doesn't go right into here, like doesn't angle itself too close to the sledge, so that you won't lose all your speed.
Also, it's impossible to mantle if you're not holding forward.
True.
The mantle command is actually part of forward, so you can just let go forward if you're close to it.
You can also use a chainsaw here, because chainsaw doesn't allow you to mantle. Like,
Yeah, that's also an option.
as you can see.
Alright, can I go over UN? Because this fight's actually very spooky in UN.
Yeah, this fight's very scary in UN, so before we go over to the next level, go ahead, Drake.
So, let me know target. So this fight is, if you're doing it quickly, let me just say for the advanced players, if you're properly executing everything that we've shown, the slob, all this stuff, the fight is actually very, very safe. Your safety is really the fact that you're going fast. But if you're just starting out, then this fight method is actually very, very scary, because I will tell you right now, when you're shooting this guy over here, this spider that spawns over here right after you kill the Mank, there's going to be a Hell Knight behind you, a Hell Knight right in front of you, And all right, so sorry about that. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff on top of you. The alternative instead is to attack them one by one with SSG. You do that, clear you, maybe slob this guy, right? Instead of that, and then come over here and then chainsaw this guy as opposed to the final mank over here. Again, come over here, SSG very safely. All right, SSG, and then we punch this guy. Right, and then we BFG. So that's the fast or that's the safer way. Okay, so let's carry on. Let's just do it again. The fight again. So, assuming you kill the Marauders, slob. You actually want to jump there for that mank, because if you don't jump, then he has a chance of ground pounding and absolutely destroying you. So make sure you're jumping. So I like to slob right before he spawns. That was a bit too early. Let's do it again. Grab the rockets. We want a quick switch out of it, like that. And there you go. Now I have God mode, but honestly I wouldn't be surprised if I took no damage there as well. So again, this is a slightly new development. We deblade from here. Oopsie. Guy kind of bonked this guy. And now for UN, I think a lot of people get scared of these Barons. They're actually not that scary if you're jumping around them like this. All right, if you're doing a jumping around. You could also just punch cancel, and it's just really hard for them to really damage you. Again, if you're just starting out and you're really scared, you could just PB rocket. In fact, a lot of older Tag 1 runs, you'll see them PB rocket, but nowadays I think it's pretty safe for like a higher level player, maybe even an intermediate level player, to safely kill these guys. So after you've killed this guy with PBSSG, I usually like to nade, 2 slobs, and that should be it. And then we come over here, nade for safety again. Now, unlike Quarth, I actually like to ice bomb the second one, mostly because this guy can punch cancel safely. And then over here, then we ice bomb the second guy. And you usually have enough for 3 slobs there, and that's a really quick kill. And now, just like Quarth said, just clean these guys up. They're usually just going to run towards the center. I just like to PB sticky, or you could just sticky if you're not quite comfortable with that. Right? As they eventually come to you. And then you can do the wall dash. I'm bad at the wall dash. I actually usually like to do the riskier strat and just come over here. Alright, Quarth has some things happening at home, so I think I'm just going to continue without him. I'm going to try and continue without him. So I think the wall dash is covered, and if Quarth ever just comes back, he'll let me know. Alright, so we're just going to continue.
Feel free to continue.
Hold space. Over here, I'm told that it's faster for you to skip the checkpoint and then jump over, and this will open the barrier faster. So just want to, as soon as you spawn, jump, dash, dash, and then you go. Pretty simple. Okay.
I'm fine to go for a little bit more blood swamps, but unfortunate circumstances are unfortunate circumstances.
Okay. It's fine. How about you just continue, and then when you need
All
to
right.
go, let me know, and I'll sub in.
This is why you're here.
Wonderful.
So yeah,
Welcome
after
back,
you go over here, skip cutscene, you'll stand right here, jump, jump, dash, dash, and here on the portal, again, as you can see, the portals start to form another like halo around itself to end. That's usually your cue to start spamming dash at the invisible wall, and you should be able to get there to save like a second or so. from here, we have... Fun fact, actually, about Bloodstorms. If you reset mission, you actually get the same amount of ammo as you had entering the portal.
Which is very unfortunate for
We're very
practicing.
unfortunate.
Highly recommend you install cheats and give yourself infinite ammo when you're practicing.
Yep. In
When
UN,
you're transitioning into
you'd
Bloodstorms.
be doing a little bit of a hook such as that. That was a bit weird, but that's basically the gist of it. Let me turn on no clip again to go back to it. That's a little bit too fast. Okay. Basically what we're doing is we're hooking one of these zombies here, preferably the one that spawns here, and trimming off of this thing to get a bit of height. What that does is eliminate this revenant that should spawn if I do that. This revenant right here from spawning in. Why is that revenant important? Because this Marauder is about to spawn. And as we know, Marauders love their friendly fire. And Revenants love to shoot that friendly fire. In Classic, it matters a bit less. In UN, it matters a lot. Because in Classic, the Marauder's reaction time is a little bit shorter. So we're allowed to have a few tries with the one cycle that we're gonna do, which does not look like that. It looks a little more if you actually open up like this, basically, the slob. The thing about slobbing in this patch is that the PB doesn't actually stun him, but the rocket Mastered PB doesn't, but the rocket does. So what you want to do is also nice hook. What you want to be doing is making sure to shoot the grenade after the rocket hits, because no matter if he's stunned or not, if you shoot the grenade before he, like, no matter what attack he does, whether it's a normal one, whether he's just standing there, or whether he's opening up with the green eyes, if you shoot a grenade, he will immediately dash away. So you want to make sure you do it after the rocket hits. After he dies, you jump up, and I'm going to let Drak explain how UN does it.
So for UN, there's a few options. First, you kind of glossed over this hook, but it's way more complicated than it seems. It's kind of finicky, frankly, how this hook works. But if you don't get it, it's fine. You can just go straight, and it's like fine. For UN, it's a little problematic, mostly because it causes some problems. So you actually want to flame belch there because it'll give you your blood punch. It's actually very important that you flame belch here. And for the Marauder, there's a few options. So if you spawn the Revenant, then I'd recommend just killing him with the lock numbers. Like, that's just something you need to do. And then for the Marauder, we're just going to do an old school setup for a kill instead. See, he's just getting hit by his teammates and they're all shooting at him, and it's a pain in the ass. So yeah, we come in, flame belch, clean up. You can actually safely blood punch like this. Want to make sure to kill the imps. And then we're gonna do this. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's a little hard. It's much harder than the rocket one, but you kind of have to do it in UN if you want to do it this way. I don't really do it in run zone. I'll show you why, because there's an alternative, but I just want to show you this first. So we get our blood punch, kill that guy, make sure to kill the imp. Oopsie. As you can see, I haven't done this in a while. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Let's try it again. Yeah, and there's a reason why. The slow prevents him from getting faltered. Now, I don't feel like showing you this because that's actually not what I do. What I do instead is I spawn the Marauder, and then I just run away. We go here. We can do a wall dash here. Oopsie. And I bungle it, of course. Here we grab the rune, and we're going to grab the double damage blood punch. This is actually important for Ultra Nightmare. And then we're going to wait for this guy to drop down, and I messed it up. Let's just do this entire thing again. Properly this time. Fly in, D-Blade. Peace out. Wall dash. Grab the rune. And you can't move actually, or you can't dash. And then here we're waiting for the Marauder to jump up. If the Revenant spawns, then this is a problem. The Revenant can actually block this Marauder from chasing us. So you gotta kill the Revenant. So now we're just gonna pre-fire, hold. And he dies. This is because this is actually not a bound section. It's actually, as you saw, I death warped here earlier. So the Marauder, for some reason, jumps down and... various. So yeah. So after this is done, after we kill this guy, we're going to bats. Or we don't actually have to, and then we're going to wall dash. Ballista. And then usually we can b-hop off of that, but if we fail, we can just land on this and jump up. Sometimes we can get a shield bash, like we'll dash right through this guy and we'll get some speed, but if not, it's fine. If you're a beginner, just pick up this, this thing. Drop down energy shield so this guy doesn't hurt us, and then just go past him. Alright, so unfortunately Quarth has some issues at home, so I'm going to continue the tutorial. So as we're coming up here, we go to D-Blade, and we pre-charge, nade, flame belch. Here we or ballista punch, or SSG punch. D-Blade, PB, SSG punch, and that's the fastest kill. You don't have to do it this way, you can just PB SSG after the D-Blade, and then hook jump up to the guy. But we can also do this. Just dash up and then grab this wall. That's also a method. Alright? Press the button. Here we do a wall dash. And then ballista. Of course I failed. Let's just get rid of you. So, wall dash, ballista, boom. We're going to flame belch and we're going to go right this time. Now, I'm going to show you how Classic does this. Actually, we don't even need to do this. We just hook jump up here and go through here. All right. Ultra Nightmare, though, is where things get really interesting with blood swamps. Really problematic because we need to worry about spawn cap issues. So we're going to... Actually, who is that? I think Mute's mic is on. Or of course mic is on. So many people. So here we actually want to hook, nade, and shoot this imp, and then charge D-Blade. Pick up this fuel, D-Blade, and we actually want to clear everything here, and I mean everything. Talking this guy, and this guy. All right, we want to clear everything. Sometimes you'll get too close, and the Cacodemon will spawn. We also want to kill the Cacodemon. All right, we want to kill everything. It's because we're going to run into spawn cap issues. Ballista back. And then here, Classic and UN do the same thing. I like to do this to get some armor. Wait for the dog, and then we chainsaw this guy. Pick up this fuel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now this guy should spawn after the 5th. I spawn Flame Belch, Blood Punch, and boom. If you've killed everything, sometimes the Blood Punch will kill the zombies. If not, you have to kill the zombies. In UN, you just want to hold your shield out over here while you're traversing here. Also in UN, you're going to want to kill this turret. So you just sticky, and then switch to PB and kill it. Jump up. Also in UN, you want to put your shield, but this is again not necessary in Classic. Then we do some fancy movement here. Oh, I missed the B-hop. And then we get here. Let me do that again. That entire sequence. So we come up here, jump up. I don't want to activate the fight, that caused problems. Sticky, boom. B-hop. You want to adjust your speed a little bit here so that you land on that, and there you go. Press the button. You could sticky cancel it. I can't pronounce your name right now. It's kind of weirdly angled. I can't see your name. But it's a little bit riskier that way. It's actually easier to do it this way. So here we open the door with the B-hop. We grab the plasma here. And here there's a little optimization where you, if you do this properly, oh, I shouldn't have done that. You're going to do a dash storage here. In fact, let me do this again by restarting mission. We're going to go here. Let's reopen the door. Come over here. Open the door. Grab the plasma. bats, and then dash. So we do a dash storage there. If you don't know, if you dash into a cutscene, it will maintain your speed, and it won't take away the dash speed. If you're precise enough with the dash storage, you can actually reach this monkey bar. In which case, you would do that, and then carry on, which is just slightly faster. I did not, because I'm not actually very comfortable with it. So I don't think either of us are very comfortable with it. Are you back? Should you continue? Okay. Okay. So the punch boost he's discussing here while he gets set up is, remember that imp we had over here? Let's actually restart the mission. So the punch boost we're talking about here is this one, where you do this. All right. Again, this is just discovered, so I don't actually know how to do it very well. And we don't want to do this in Ultra Nightmare because, again, we'd skip all this stuff. We want to actually kill everything here. So that's the punch boost.
In Classic, we would
That's
combine that.
in the current patch because of invisible wall. Which one? The one in the castle? Oh yes, correct. We should mention this.
In Classic, we
This
would combine
skip
that
where
punch boost with a ballista to get right to the armor. By the way.
Yeah. Mexicano Cat mentioned that you can't do this skip over here with where we skip the torch fights because there's an invisible wall here that prevent us from jumping up. This is an oversight in the earlier patches. So if you're paying on the newer patches, you're going to have to do these fights. In which case, I recommend you watch 100% runners who actually do these fights. We can't actually cover them, and we've actually never done them. I don't think either of us can give you tutorial on those fights. So I've covered so far all the way up to.
I technically can because I know the hundo route, but you can watch hundo runs to see it for yourselves.
So Quarth, I'm basically before the first castle fight. Like I'm up here. You just let me know when you're ready, and I'll stop. So here there's a bunch of options, but I think the best one is to just do ballista boost up here and then ballista boost. By the way, Quarth, you just interrupt me and stop whenever you're ready.
All right.
So once we come up here, there's a few options. I think the safest one is to just, for UN, you could pull out your energy shield, but it's not necessary. Come into this corner. You want to dash directly into this corner. If you do it properly, you won't get boosted up. Then you want to turn, and you want to hold forward, and you'll be able to tell you're bopping up and down, and then you're going to do a dash boost. You're going to use that dash boost to jump up here. I think you can do in Classic just a hook jump, but in UN you would just come over here, kill the turret, and then do a hook jump, right?
Yeah.
That's how you do it in UN. But in Classic you could probably just get away with a ballista boost into a hook jump. Like so. Right. You actually in UN want to avoid spawning these guys because then you have to change up you have to change things up a little bit. There's actually too many dudes. If you spawn them, then be perfectly okay to nade a couple of them, but don't nade all of them because then the Baron spawns and then you're in trouble.
I'll be showing off the fight above here, and then Drake you can take on for a little bit more.
Okay, so yeah, so let me just cover this again. So you just do that. There are some other options here. I wouldn't worry about too much. Let's just go like this. Go into the corner, ballista boost, hook, and then you get up here. If you're on UN, you just want to pause and kill this turret before you carry on. So that in this case, you'd want to sticky cancel. Okay, sticky cancel, boom, and there you go. And now Quarth is going to show you how to do it in this fight.
All right. So from here, once you enter on this ballista punch, and you get right over, and you are able to pick up this BFG. We enter Bloodshot, so 30 BFG. So you should be able, so this guy is going to be very useful. Once you get into here, nade and D-blade to these two barons. Kill this one. By the time this one dies, the other one should come in. Very close to you. Either sometimes he comes here, sometimes he's here. Most of the time he's gonna be on this route. But anyhow, you wanna be just ice bombing him From there, you want to... Actually, a newer development is that once you ice bomb him, you go over to around this place and just shoot the BFG. Make sure that this guy actually dies, because the BFG's random damage can sometimes not work in your favor.
Especially on lower FPS.
Especially on lower FPS. This Arachno will almost always jump down here. You want to be chainsawing him. After he dies, it takes a few million years for this person to spawn. As he spawns, slob, grenade, and SSG, and he's already dead. Blood punch, and same for this guy. You want to be fast because this specific archvile really likes to teleport around. While you go into here, you want to grab these 3 rockets, use them to kill this Doom Hunter. Sometimes the Doom Hunter likes to go anywhere from over here to hiding behind this wall, to continuing his trip overhead to here. He's very chaotic and surprisingly fast, so don't be surprised if he's like at the other side of the arena. So you won't waste time looking for him. From there, there's a lot of there's just fodder to clear up.
Particularly, usually, there will always be 4 imps left over.
Sometimes there are going to be a few shield soldiers.
Occasionally there will be 1 shield soldier, although I've never really... Maybe there could be 2, but I'm usually only getting 1.
Alright. Any differences between Nightmare and Classic there?
Actually quite a few.
Alright, so then I'll let you show them off.
So, you pretty much want to do the same route. Let's just no target here. And you want to keep in mind what happened down here. If you spawned the imps, you're actually going to fire the BFG differently. If you didn't, you're going to fire it a different way. So, come in, do the same thing. By the way, we're doing this not because we need to pick up the BFG ammo right away. We're doing this is actually because the movement is a little smoother to get over here. You can nade, although you can also delay the nade for a little bit of safety. D-blade. And then, just like with the UACA, where I mentioned it's very safe to fight Barons, you just want to just jump over them a bunch. You just want to jump over them, they're going to whiff shots. Now, like Kurt said, you're usually the Baron's going to show up here, ice bomb, kill him. I actually don't recommend using Blood Punch, especially if you have only 1. So usually you're going to be here. Now, if you didn't spawn the imps, there are going to be a bunch of tentacles here that you want to get. All right. There are going to be a bunch of tentacles over there. So you actually want to fire the BFG this way to clear the tentacles. If you didn't, and the imps have spawned, you actually want to fire the BFG this way. Right? Now, this won't kill this spider like it did with the other thing, but you're actually able to kill the spider fast enough if you spawn camp him. Oh, hello. Excellent video game design. Yes, that can happen. If you skip the torch fights and do that, that's very funny. So let's do this. Okay, so let's just do the fight normally. Just demonstrate. Sometimes the Baron can be a drama queen. I'm going to ballista here to get a better angle. Make sure I'm here. See, the spirit didn't have a chance. Same thing here. Bang. I was a little too early. If the Doom Hunter leaves, I was too slow there. If the Doom Hunter is like takes too long to kill, forget him. Just forget him. Because if you're too late to this, there's a weird bug in this patch where if an archvile starts moving, it will just cancel your lock on. It will just cancel your lock on and you're in trouble. So just if you're like me and you whiffed on this Doom Hunter, don't worry about him. Just forget him. Forget him, deal with him later. Make sure you kill the archvile. You can actually double slob here, right? Double slob, clear it out. And then after that, I would actually single lock on burst this one. Come over here, double blood punch if you have it, SSG blood punch if you can, and then spend 2 slobs on this guy, pick up these rockets, and then you should be able to come back and do this. There you go. And then we clear out the fodder. Usually the spirit spawns at some point. There it is. And usually it'll possess if you've done this all properly, because we in UN, because we skip this fight, sometimes the spirit will try and possess something over here. It'll fail, and then it'll possess like a fodder over here, and it usually won't possess an imp. It'll possess a zombie, for example. So usually that happens once you kill all 3 super heavies. The fodder will all die, so the spirit will be around, and you'll actually be able to tell where the fodder is based on where the spirit possesses it. So then you kill all the fodder, right? See, tells me where it is. Clear it out, and then we come over here. You could chainsaw, but I don't recommend it. I actually think it's better if you don't. We got enough chainsaw from the spider. Now we go over here, and while this white screen is actually happening, we can switch weapons. So we can set up bats. Oopsie, failed it. Double ballista boost here. We can actually grab this fuel, right? That's going to be a little helpful later. In UN, you have to clear these turrets and stuff. And then I would recommend just hooking off the meatball, but I failed. If you miss one of these turrets, it's fine, although I recommend making sure you get them. In Classic, you would just flow through this area as expected pretty normally. All this stuff despawns, but the turrets don't. Kinda. There's some weirdness with the turrets, let's not worry about it. Drop down. If you can get the lure chop, that's fine. If not, just ballista. Pretty standard movement, hook jump. And then here we're just gonna meme a Marauder again. You can tell when you can start moving away. Okay. Anyway. You can tell, right? So the Marauder spawns at this level, and then as soon as he snaps up to here, you can start dashing away. Ballista boost up. There we go. And then we jump. We just hold our macro, or just spam jump here just so we're at a high. And then we use that height to get a lure chop or an ABH. Punch. We're just going to ignore this guy. Here's where things happen differently for Classic and Ultra Nightmare. In Classic, you would just immediately set up this skip. Like so, right? In Ultra Nightmare, you'd actually complete this fight. So let's demonstrate that. Alright. So in Ultra Nightmare, shoot these guys as you're flying in, and then... Oopsie. You get down Mr. President Afterlife Edition. Okay, and then the spirit will usually be trying to possess the soldiers. You want to jump in, clear the soldiers first, clear the zombies, or clear the soldiers first, spider, these turrets, and then the zombies. And now we're going to set up this skip. So if you're in Classic, you can just pull out your energy shield and you don't have to worry about stuff bothering you. But in UN, we have to finish this fight anyway, just because of the spawn cap. So we're going to get into this corner. And we're going to look at this thing, and we're going to look over to the left a little bit. Hold forward, dash, and let go forward as soon as we dash. So let's try again. A little challenging. This trick is probably one of the more trickier tricks. And we want to adjust our trajectory in the air so that we fly straight into the hole. I think this might be patched out in later versions, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. There you go. So the reason we do this is because there's actually an invisible wall here, right in front of me, but there's a hole in it right here. So we're just trying to fly straight into the hole. It is a little tricky. You might be able to do this with a hook jump, but it is quite a bit more challenging. So moving on, if you're low on armor and super scary, you can pick up this in UN. Classic, you just fly right past it. We go dash, double dash, punch, and then here you want to double jump before you... I messed it up. You want to double jump here, so that when you land on this, you pick up that fuel. In UN, you'd be doing this D-Blade. In Classic, you wouldn't. You would just fly past, because we're going to reload and all this stuff disappears. We're not going to finish this fight. We're just going to let it go. Once we hook up here, we just punch this. Very funny. Ballista. And the gate is open. Grab the wall. Jump up. Wall dash. Press a button. Over here. While we can't move and while we're waiting for this thing to turn on, this takes a little bit of time. Chainsaw. And then we... And here's a little bit of a challenging part. Ballista punch swap. And usually the snakes here will start moving. You want to deblade them right before they do. That fuel we picked up at the start of this path means that we don't have to pick up this fuel if we did it properly. We should have 2 fuel coming into here. So we come in, ice bomb, slob. We can burn all of our rockets on this guy, all of them. If you missed it, you can literally just slob and then just like do this: lock on, pick up the fuel, lock on, and then come finish him off with a hook. Ballista, pick up our 3rd fuel. Don't zip there. SSG, and then chainsaw here. That's where our 3 fuel goes. Be careful around this. I lost a run to a zipping here. Just try and avoid it. So you come up the stairs and then try and go around it. All right. If you get stuck and you're like, ah, crap, I better dash. Don't. Just take a step off, and then safely do this. SSG, ballista back, chop. Okay. So use this. Go over here, start opening the door, then grab the plasma. Here's another dash storage. Just like we did with the other door, we're going to do a dash storage here. We're going to aim ourselves this direction. It doesn't actually matter where we are because the door will respawn us like this, but we're just going to aim like this. Dash, double jump, look down, and punch boost like that. Let's do it again. I can't replicate the dash boosts or the dash storage. Second jump, jump up there. Do it again. Easy. And then ballista boost here. There's actually a wall dash here you can do, but it's a little finicky, so instead I recommend grabbing the BFG. 1, 2, ballista boost. Like that. And then we do a hook here. Let's go through all that again. If I can remember where I am. Okay, so we're going to do this trick. They're called the turducken. Dash, grab, ballista. Grab this, dash back. We can kill this guy for some armor. Right? And then we hook. And if you're Ultra Nightmare, you can pull your chain gun. You want to aim for this tree. That's kind of the place you want to go for to get the death plane that spawns you right over here. Okay? Yes, that is called the turducken. Actually, yeah, that is called the turducken. Don't ask. It's a meat dish, dude. So here we can do a little ballista. If you're good enough, you can avoid the mantle. It's kind of hard to avoid the mantle, but that's fine if you don't. Now this fight is probably the most gangster fight. Top 2 gangster fight of Tag 1. Come over here, we grab the rockets. We're going to jump up, and we're going to start charging D-Blade. With a B-hop. If you miss this, don't worry about it. We're waiting for this Prowler to spawn. As soon as the Prowler spawns, we shoot the BFG. We look down there to increase our FPS. Let me just actually go through this fight normally here. D-Blade and drive by D-Blade. And then I'll cover the steps. I'll do a complete first. Usually the Tyrant is here, but because I have no targeting, we usually get a D-Blade on the Tyrant and that guy, hit him a couple times, and then we BFG off into the distance. And I'll show why with a proper run. So once again, we start off, jump up, D-Blade. Again, if you miss, it's fine. Just lock on the missing one. You just need to make sure 2 Revenants are dead by the time the Prowler spawns. Again, this Tyrant looks super scary, but again, he hit me twice there. Okay, 3 times. I've misplayed it. I would actually might have been in trouble there if I played that better. Well, where is the... Oh, hello. Okay, let's do it again. In fact, let's do it while being mortal. I'm looking down here to guarantee the kills here. Make sure to pick up this plasma. It's actually kind of important. At any point, you can pick up this mega up here. See, this guy isn't scary. Pick up those rockets. I actually recommend it. We're going to use those in a bit. And now the game is behaving in a way that it's never behaved before. So normally this guy's on the bridge, but for some reason he's not, and you would lock on slob him. And then we just finish off this guy. He actually should be pretty low. And then here we're going to punch cancel. And then we're going to throw this BFG out. And it actually kills this guy. Am I on Nightmare? I am not on Nightmare. That explains a lot. Let's do it again. This fight is probably the hardest fight of the game, in my opinion. Or hardest fight of the run. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. Get into this corner, squeeze ourselves in. Prowler spawns. Also, the great thing about this fight is you don't have to worry about Blood Punch too much because those buff totems give you health and regenerate your Blood Punch. I missed a rocket, that's fine. There we go. Baron or Tyrant behaved himself. Usually kills this guy. There we go. 1, 2. If we miss. Bang. Naruto out. Peace. Now, that final BFG you fire right there, you can actually, if you're super lucky, get a chainsaw. Get a chainsaw on a dude. If you're super lucky. But sometimes you can. And that fight is actually pretty much identical in Classic. I can't think of a difference in Classic that you would do. Some people prefer that second BFG that I fired off into the distance. Some people prefer to shoot it against the super heavies. I found less success with that than others. But again, if you're scared at any point, maybe you're killing the buff totem, grab the Mega. Or right after the fight, while you're waiting for the spirit to Naruto out, just grab this, and then come over here. Cool. Awesome fight. I really love this fight. It's a headbanger. There's no reason to grab rockets. If you can, maybe squeeze in this ballista ammo. That'd be nice, actually, for the upcoming fight. But if not, we're just going to have to squeeze in a chainsaw in the upcoming box fight. Or more specifically, the Trial of Amalagog is the name. So with these, in Classic, you would just sit here calmly, not even worried. But in Ultra Nightmare, we're going to do some hook jumps to stay out of danger. All right. Hook jumps. All right. Energy shield. Now, I'm told that if a fodder's really close while you're punching the box, you can chainsaw right afterwards. But I've never been able to get it. So yeah, this is what you do in Ultra Nightmare. Just hop around, avoid shots. Boom. Now I'm actually going to chainsaw here. That's about probably where you'd squeeze in the chainsaw. And this is where the fight can get really scary for Ultra Nightmare. You do really want to make sure you're hook jumping here. Staying in the air as long as possible. Uh-oh. A little scary. I don't know why the eye let me hit it 4 times, but I will take it. There you go. I think this one's pretty simple. For UN, you just need to make sure you're hook jumping up there for safety. That's Blood Swamps. Before I continue, does chat even have any questions about Blood Swamps? Just quickly recap the level. We did our hook. We did our quick kill. If you're on UN, you might as well just grab the rune. Yes, actually, I should mention. The reason we're getting this rune, it's actually very important. I reset mission. Make sure to get it. Is because it makes the final fight faster without having us to reload checkpoint. The reason why you don't want to get this in Classic is because we can reload checkpoint in Classic and it makes the fight faster for Sam, the final fight of the game. Okay, I don't see any questions. I don't know, for some reason the game just pushing me back. I'm not touching anything here. I don't know why this section pushes me back. Very interesting. Of course, of course. Excuse me, I'm a failure and I am a disgusting human being, Lucina. Thank you for reminding me. All right, let's go into the Holt. So, the Holt, we're going to start off, we're going to skip the cutscene. And right after we skip the cutscene, we're going to jump and wall dash diagonally to our left. Okay, let's do it again. Very simple, just diagonal dash to the left. Hold arm, jump, dash. Now, This is where Quarth would explain this dash boost, but I don't play Classic, and I don't really understand that well. But basically, you can do a dash boost here. I'm going to try it this way. Yep. And then you get up here, you hit this checkpoint. Once you hit this checkpoint, you can exit to main menu. And we have successfully skipped this fight. Okay? Now, in UN, things are a bit different, of course, because everything has to be more complicated in Ultra Nightmare. Here we're going to be up, Ballista Boost, grab the bar. Go back here, we're going to stand in this spot. Aim here. Backwards here. Okay, so a lot of things just happened right there. I'm going to go through it again in slow motion. So we're going to go known target. So again, do the same intro. Let's just jump here. Go back over here. And we're going to stand in this spot around here. It's not too specific. It really isn't. But this manipulates the Blood Maker to immediately start attacking us, and its head pops up at about here. So you can stand here, aim here, poop, and then go over here. You actually want to get here as fast as possible. You can't just lazily shoot and then just dash. You actually want to get there as fast as possible. Some people might do this, where the Bloodmaker starts attacking, shoot him, and then do like this. I actually find it a little easier to do this and then Ballista Boost, like that, and get into the corner. Right? Second thing, the second Bloodmaker pops up, shoot it. So let's do no target. Oh, I guess that didn't work. Let's go again. Let's do this again. Again, we don't have to rush to this spot. It takes a little while. Pop. Boom. If you do this fast enough, only 2 imps will spawn. Occasionally 1 will spawn. And there you go. Now, we're in Ultra Nightmare, and I want you to stay in this location because we're going to do a special boost. We're going to set up bats. All right, set up bats. We're going to jump up into this corner. There's a little dash boost here. Slow down time. All the dash boosts in the Holt are very strange. You kind of have to slow down time on all of them. Otherwise, they're really inconsistent. So there's this little lip here that goes like that. We're going to dash boost off of that. Like this. And of course, it's finicky. So I'm going to keep trying again. Oh, I'm not aiming in the right spot. Aim in the corner. That's right. There we go. Once we get up, we go over here. All right. Now, there's 2 strats. I'm going to show you the hard one first. And then the easier one second. So, after you get up here, let's not target. Either with the momentum from the dash boost or after you reload checkpoint, set up bats. We want to Ballista Boost out like this.
That's pretty embarrassing. I'm sorry, but I'm back now. Hello.
All right, let me finish this. So we're gonna double Ballista Boost. This trick is hard, but I think it's worth showing off. Oopsie. And of course I fail it. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to get here fast enough so that the Bloodmaker can't escape for this punch boost.
Also, using the shield is absolutely required, because if not, the Bloodmaker will falter you and stun you.
The Bloodmaker will attack you instantly and falter you instantly. Now, I don't recommend this for beginners, but I just wanted to show it off. So let me just do it again here. From beginning to that spot.
Have you showed them the dash boost we do on Classic?
Yes.
All right.
Although I think you might want to expand on the details because I don't really understand it well. But let me just finish this and then I'll hand it off to you. Do the same thing. 1, 2. Breaks this. Bats. Corner. Ballista Boost. Should have a lot of speed. Carry it. Whoop. Bang. And we jump over this wall. Important thing for UN, you actually want to get close to the wall so that it despawns stuff, because this will slow down fights later. For Classic, you just jump over it and fly over.
All right.
And you carry on. But for UN, you want to do this. And Quarth, you just want to start from the beginning again and cover the dash. I covered it in exiting the menu, but I just don't know the detail. I just kind of winged it.
I will do that.
You just do. All right, so.
So
now enlighten us.
As you can see, we have a little wall dash. My setup goes like this, and I like to do it off of this little patch right here. It's pretty precise. but because I've been doing it for so long, I kind of have a feel for it and get it pretty consistently.
Yeah, and if you're struggling with this, you can always just weapon wheel.
Yeah, when you do use weapon wheel, I heavily recommend letting yourself fall down the slope just a little bit before dashing, which makes it much more consistent than it already is. As you can see here. In a real run, we'd exit to menu, but I'm just going to reload checkpoint.
And just to add on the punch boost, since I don't think you need to cover that, Quarth. If you wanted to do the punch boost here, you would ballista here instead of you would double ballista here to get enough speed. But we're gonna show off the easier strategy and the older strategy from here.
Here, if you're having trouble, if you're like me and you're having trouble going backwards, you can do this. If you don't use two ballista boosts there, that would not be ideal. You can do this without flicking, and it still works. If you don't want, if you're struggling with this, here's the alternative setup. You go on to, you do basically the same thing, but you fall from down there into this tunnel, making sure to, the Bloodmaker won't be here, but making sure that you go over to the sides, because enemies have a chance, random chance basically, to spawn over at the middle of this tunnel. Also, this Bloodmaker is body blocking the jump pad we're about to use. And speaking of jump pad we're about to use, we're gonna go onto this thing, ballista, find an enemy, hook, and then jump ballista again. Once we're onto this, we weapon wheel, do the same thing, let yourself fall down a little bit before starting it, and then you can fall all the way down. And the exact same thing happens. From here, you wanna, if you're on classic, this fight won't spawn because because you don't despawn this fight. On Ultra Nightmare, these guys do still spawn, but from here you want to go meet these imps. From this guy, there will be a hook that you can do to skip this little wall. If you fail the hook, that's fine. You can either, if you have the ballista, actually you probably won't, so you can catch one of the imps here. He's usually not that far. There we go. Catch this dash boost. 1, 2, jump, 3, and you're up over the wall. That's a neat little backup, but it uses a bit of ballista ammo, so make sure at least get the bunny hop. 2 pickups right here. UN wants to chainsaw one of these. Classic doesn't have to.
If you fail the yeet, you would pick up you would chainsaw here.
Yeah.
Because of the back of it.
These 2 pickups are very important. From here, we want to use this Hell Knight and hook like so off of this little patch of rock. This little slopey rock. As long as you hit this, you should be fine.
Yeah, you can just show it with no target a few times. Like reload and show no target.
Yeah. After I do so, there is a different setup that UN does, which I'll let Drake show off, because I have not done it yet, because I don't run UN. Hopefully this guy, as he descends, sometimes he blocks you. Hopefully that doesn't happen. If it does, that's fine. You can ballista boost again with the fact that you get 90 ammo from the pickups. You should be good. So you can go like that. You can even go as far as to here. You can even, I believe, yeah, even like that. What matters most is that you do what I just did there, is that you not on target. You go ahead and get to this invisible wall when you're high enough to skip this checkpoint. This fight here takes about a minute and a half long. If you get it in an actual run, that's fine as long as you're not pushing for really good times.
I think it's 30 seconds actually.
It's 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you
damn.
do it, something similar. But still, like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's
It's a lot for such a small level. If you want to see this, I believe Rytro does this in his 100% run very well. Suggest you go check that out. But from here, I'm gonna let Drake show off how UN does it because it's quite interesting.
Okay, so UN, like we've talked about the whole time, because we can't reload, we can't clear the enemy cap. So with this, we got this checkpoint. There we go. So we drop down, and because UN also gets less ammo in general from all this other stuff, we actually want to pick up the some more ammo here with a chainsaw. Sometimes, if you're really good, you can avoid this, but you're still going to need to pick up some ammo here regardless. I like to nade there. I don't actually know if this makes a difference, but sometimes it might. Then you want to clear this guy out. And then here, right as this dude spawns, you want to ice bomb him. PB, rocket, PB. And then right before you hook him, nade, and then hook. It is comically important that this guy dies when we leave. Comically important. Why? Well, because the boss at the end of the level has these spirits. And those spirits can possess this Hell Knight. Yeah. Yeah. I have lost runs to this. People have lost runs to this. Now, I'm not even going to mention that detail. It's a hundo detail, which is kind of cute. In hundo, you want to keep this guy alive because another spirit possesses him, but let's not get into that. There's some pitfalls with this, which is really scary. So firstly, you notice that I didn't throw the nade directly at the Hell Knight because this, right?
Yup.
And your run
This
is
part
over.
is interesting.
The run is over. So you want to stand here, kill this guy, and then PB rocket, nade that way, and then hook. Practice this. I recommend you practice this considerably. So, you got your B-hop, clear that dude so it doesn't bother you when you pick up this plasma. 2. Be careful around here. I think I went out of bounds. So the bounds for this area can be kind of hard to tell, but once you take a look, it actually makes a lot of sense. So there's an invisible wall here. Our rules do not allow you to stand on invisible walls that don't despawn or go over them. So you have to go around it like this, right? But the geometry around here is actually very scary. At this height, there's actually a chance that you land on a wall up here. And this wall up here is not very legal to be on top of because it doesn't despawn. Also, this is out of bounds, so if you stand on this, it's very illegal and will lock you up and throw you in jail. Actually, we won't do that. But anyway, yeah, you want to make sure to get into this corner. One of the hardest things about this trick is just recognizing where you are. I've seen top runners just get lost over here, and then they spawn stuff. So really just kind of learn what this geometry over here is like and what is good, right? So, see, I messed up the trick, I spawned everything, and now my run is lost. So I'm going to do that again.
Yeah, Holt is pretty brutal, but once you get it down, it is really nice. Holt is both brutal. While Holt is brutal, it's probably one of the most consistent levels. Especially mostly in classic. I'm not entirely sure about what can happen with Ultra Nightmare damage numbers. But
I missed the Hell Knight. So, alright, let's just continue. It's kind of a hard trick. You kind of need to practice it. So anyway, you skip this, alright? Now, ideally, right after you skip this, you would get a B-hop. Like, you get an alert hop, a big one, and it'd send you forward. But if not, there's a variety of wall dashes here. And then you would carry that into this BFG pickup. But if you don't, then you would just do ballista back and ballista forward.
And
or ballista and then backwards, and then you get here.
And speaking of that BFG pickup, that placement involves a very, very interesting skip.
Yeah, so we'll give it over to Quelle now to show us.
This actually is very, very lenient because of this very surprisingly large invisible slope that you can kind of lean onto when you're not. Like, look at this. Look at how far it extends.
Yeah.
If you fall here, you can just jump ballista. And the sheer length of the invisible slope will just carry you all the way over. But from here, what you want to do is you could activate bats, but it's very much optional. Grab the BFG pocket, look around this area near this patch of orange, and what we're gonna do is jump ballista, flick down, jump ballista, and we're gonna do this with punch cancels, like so. And that's the first step of this skip. The second step would be to dash twice, but it's very important that the dashes you do are spaced out ever so slightly to get all the way over to here. If that doesn't happen, you will fall short, like so.
And bats only makes this easier.
Bats only makes this easier than it should be, although there is a chance you might get stumped a little bit because the rhythm on when you need to be pressing jump changes a little. So
I just find as soon as you ballista, it actually is just easy. We just ballista, like your second jump is just, it's just that easy. You can do, if you're uncomfortable punch canceling, you can do this with just normal dead swaps, but it is way harder.
It is so much harder.
Punch canceling makes this trick trivial.
If
you want to show them the backup?
Yes. If you fail it, like due to nerves, you don't space out your dashes correctly, that's absolutely fine. You need to go over to this corner. Look at this little black dot.
Can you back up for a second and show them just like exactly what it is?
You fall down here. That's fine. There is this tree here, big tree there, and down here there's a little corner. You want to get right up against that corner. Look onto this black dot, making sure you're pressing both A and D to go diagonally to the right. Jump. I haven't done this in a while. Jump and dash, and it should. But I haven't done this in months.
I haven't been able to actually replicate it. It's actually harder for me than pulling it.
Yeah, it's like. Oh, I see. If you're using macro, it's basically impossible. But if you're using a single jump input, you can see yourself get stuck. You can see see this state where you're just kind of stuck there, and you're not moving. You're kind of moving up a little bit, but that's fine. From there, you dash diagonally again, and you have the height to get all the way to here. And from here, there is this little wall here that doesn't match with the geometry at all. I believe it's wall dashable. Yep. But what I like to do instead is follow the path along this tree. And if I actually get it, you can do something like that. Which is very cool if you don't land on the specific patch of ground that is way more sloped than the rest. This entire section is very hard to b-hop off of, but once you pull it off, it's very nice. It takes a little bit of getting to know the space here, where you should and shouldn't boost off of. And don't be afraid to miss this. It's fine. If you miss this, I suggest just dash. Because the surface is so sloped and so random that if you try to ballista boost, you would barely be able to carry any of that momentum through.
Yeah.
To the point where it's faster than dashing.
This will just come with experience.
Yeah. From here is surprisingly new development. You can actually.
Yeah, we can cover the old strat first.
Yeah, we can. I'm gonna go over the first strat first. Let me make sure no target is activated. Oh, it's already activated. Great. You go through this up to the monkey bar. up to here. Go away for a second. Make sure to freeze this Mancubus. This is very important. Grab the BFG pickup. Ballista boost. Grab these 2 pickups. You can walk on top of here, and then use this to hook into this slope and onto the bridge. Now, I accidentally hooked off of a gargoyle, but that gargoyle has a very random chance to spawn there, so aim for the Mank. The Mank will be there absolutely every time. If you don't freeze him, he will walk to here and you will have to reload checkpoint. But you see, if you're really cool, you can also do a little punch boost. Like so. Basically what you it's surprisingly easy once you get it down. Make sure to not be against this, because this thing can make the angle a bit weird, because that Mank won't be in this position 100% of the time. So because this protrudes a little bit outwards, it's going to be much harder to get the Mank consistently if you're coming in from this angle. So make sure to go to the right or to the left of it.
Try to avoid the
Try
boost
to
pad,
try to avoid the boost pad as much as you can.
This trick is fresh off the presses, discovered not 2 hours ago.
Yep, right before
right
this
as we were
tutorial
looking.
by yours truly, DrakePHOSE.
So yeah, do you want to go through it just live, like without me talking?
Yeah. I'll show both tricks at full speed, just so you'll see how it looks. Also, if you aren't fancy like me, close please, and you don't get this wall dash up against this door as it opens, this is another useful one off of this thing. Again, 45-degree angle as usual. It is equally fast. Even if I failed, the duration of the ice bomb is good enough. And I don't want to grab the checkpoint, so I ballisted later than I actually should have, on purpose, of course. And because this punch boost is so fresh, I might have a little bit of trouble with it, but hopefully I won't. Oh yeah, it's good. It's really good. If you are having trouble with the punch boost, although I'd arguably say it's easier than the meat hook, definitely go for the meat hook. I'd say it's much more consistent, much more comfy, and it's much more like, it's a much older tech, so it's something you're probably already familiar with the mechanics of and how it works. Punch boosting being so new, you might just fail this, not because this specific punch boost is hard, but because punch boosts in general are not as well understood as meat hook is at this point in time. That's totally fine. This is why we have 2 setups.
And there's actually no difference between UN and classic here, so you can keep going.
Actually, in UN, you would want to use whatever momentum you have to get right to the door. On classic, on classic, not only is reloading checkpoint here going to get us right in front of the button, but it's also going to despawn the Hell Knight that UN has to kill manually. So this is very important. On top of that, I've actually found that because we haven't despawned the first fight, we do actually get spawn cap issues if we don't do this. So make sure that you do reload here.
This is about where you'd realize, oh, I forgot to despawn that Crimson Forest fight with the Bloodmaker that we both
Yep.
did. This is where you'd be like, uh-oh, we're in trouble.
And it's really good because this checkpoint saves a traversal time on top of it.
Yeah.
This
carry on.
fun door right here. Wall dash off of it, combine that with a ballista, right to the tyrant. Freeze grenade, as we did in UACA.
In UN, you wouldn't have the freeze grenade.
True. Double punch, stay safe. Let the carcass throw out his shields, and please, I don't want to see any more heartbreaks. Don't let him do that to you. Don't become another victim of the frame perfect shield.
Do you want me to cover this fight? This overdrive fight?
Actually, yeah, go ahead. But before that, I just want to mention just if you're not aware, the fact that you can chainsaw right after the BFG, because if you do that, you'll be able to comfortably slob the tyrant as you're advancing towards the Bloodmaker. If your FPS is high enough, you can actually kill the tyrant much faster than you should be able to. My FPS isn't high enough, but Drake has done it multiple times.
And if your FPS is high enough, you can also accidentally kill the Bloodmaker and lose a bunch of time because
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Alright, so for the next fight.
The stream has closed. The Discord stream.
Mr. Discord, would you please stop doing this?
Alright, we're good.
Alright, so I'm gonna cheat because I haven't done that fight yet. Okay. Come here, the door opens, and then the trigger for this fight is actually a little bit of a box here and here. So you actually want to fly in like so. Start charging D-Blade as you B-hop, and touch the trigger, and then shoot that, and kill that carcass. Let me no target here. I can give you some info. So, after that, basically the way this fight works is that it counts the amount of enemies you kill before it starts spawning the next wave. Let me see if I can reload checkpoint here. Oh boy. Okay, let me set up a checkpoint here. Okay, so if I count here with you guys, let's do some count Dracula. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the next wave spawns. And that can be of any enemy. So I'd recommend just getting rid of the carcass, because after this phase starts, the next phase starts based on how many soldiers are alive. So if you can kill these two carcasses, it means that there's more soldiers alive here for you to count towards the next phase of the fight. So we're going to start again. Ballista in. Hit the trigger over here. Come over here. Nade. Right, now this is where Quarth and I disagree. I think you should go for rocket shots here, and in UN you should definitely go for rocket shots because you want to go for this Bloodmaker to refill your blood punch. Okay? And for some health.
I go for rocket shots too.
Yeah. And then we just clean up stuff like this. You can deblade if you want to, but you want to get just enough so that the Doom Hunter spawns.
Yeah, no, I don't think we disagree on this. I PB rocket them as well. I don't think you should deblade until you get the overdrive power up, because deblade, while it does go through soldiers, the charge time is a bit slow when comparing it to PB rocket.
Also, you kind of have to wait for those dudes to spawn. It's not going to be guaranteed that they show up.
It's not that we disagree. It's just been a while since I've actually had a PB where I've showcased this.
That's how fast this fight is. And then we set up bats. Oopsie.
Make sure to grab that BFG. By the way.
Grab the BFG. You can go real silly dummy fast after this fight. So right after the fight, right when you've cleared everything with the D-Blade, ideally, you ballista out. On your way over, you set up bats, right? It was a little challenging, but you can. Also, they follow you.
They follow you if you use no clip.
Come over here, ballista backwards, ballista downwards. And if you're not bad, you could be able to do it. You're able to do that, and then we just double ballista backwards again, pick up the BFG. I'll just do it again. Get murdered nerd. Set of bats. And then fail, and then no clip, just for etc. And there you go. And then we enter Sam.
We enter Sam. Speaking of Sam, I'm gonna go over the phases real quick, and Drake will go over anything that has to do with UN. Oh, nice. No clipping. That's funny. Skip the cutscene, and you, I haven't timed it yet, but there might be a reason to not reload here. For the time being, you could probably do whatever. If you reload, he stays there. He stays on the platform for a longer period of time. If you don't, he teleports a little bit periodic, a little bit more. So when he doesn't reload, you can do that, which is really nice.
Oh boy.
What does that oh boy mean?
That is really fast.
That is
Also,
really
by the way,
fast.
if you're wondering why he's not lock on burst does 3 lock on burst rockets do the same damage as 1 regular rocket. So.
Yep. For this guy, I didn't get a blood punch, so you can do that because blood punch deals a ton of damage to them. This is. I still think Slob is slower, even though you can. If you do want to use Slob, if you're in UN and you're scared of slobbing, you want to be, because Slob allows you to break like line of sight with the enemy while still being connected to them.
Yeah,
You
sure.
just because of the special properties of Slob, which I believe Drake can show off when he gets the UN discrepancies and details. It gets you can just make sure it hits if you just aim upwards, and so if you don't aim upwards, the Hell Knight will abuse the fact that he's possessed to be so fast that the lock-on rockets will just go down into the floor, and none of them will hit, and you will be very sad, and we don't want that.
Also, in UN, this area is much scarier than...
Yeah, in Classic, we wait until we get to reload checkpoint at the end. In UN, you have Desperate Punch, which means...
Yeah, I'll cover it, yeah.
Yeah. And just before we move on to this next phase...
It's an auto-scroll.
Yeah, it's an auto-scroll. That's why I was just playing around and not really caring about anything. Nothing you can do speeds that phase up. Not killing the Cacodemons, that just spawns new ones. It's just sitting there on a 1-minute timer waiting for you to waiting for it to count down to 0.
Mm-hmm.
On Classic, you don't have much to do there. You can just play around and
if you don't have blood punch, refill it off the cacos.
yeah, refill it off the cacos.
There is a chainsaw fuel somewhere there that refills. You might be able to refill on ammo, but I don't think you should need to because...
There is no real need.
Yeah, you should be full anyway.
Once you go to the checkpoint, it teleports you into a predetermined location. But because of my not so good machine, it doesn't actually play out the way it should. My black screens in particular are very much longer than the average. If you want to see a very good example of what should happen to you over here, I suggest you go to the 80% unrestricted leaderboards and look at the real Paisano's 80% record.
Yeah, he gets he immediately insta destroys the Sam on that phase.
Once you hear, you have 2 blood punches, hopefully. And he's dead.
It's actually incredible. I don't know how you blood punch does so much damage for you.
What do you mean? That's how blood punch should do damage.
Okay.
Alright, off to you.
Alright, so I've restarted the mission and teleported over here.
That's why it looks all weird.
Yeah. I should have... Do I have full BFG here? No, doesn't matter. I'll just
It's
play
fine.
on Godwin. So we fly in. If we're lucky, he behaves here, but usually I like to do PB rockets. 1, there we go. 1, 2, and there we go. So I'll just do that again with Sam. So if you're super lucky, Sam will just sit there and you'll just absolutely wreck him. He actually takes bonus damage to the head, by the way. So you can actually aim for headshots. Headshot down, headshot down. Usually what we'll get away with is we'll be able to do dash left, 1, 2, and then ballista on the third one, and then he'll teleport. That's usually what you'll get. But otherwise, yeah. So look at how long he stays up here. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Reloading checkpoint is so much faster. BFG while the cutscene happens. This is very. It looks tight, but it's actually very easy to do. Like I didn't even try right there. Now you can do a few things here. You can try and go for the spirit that's like. That's going to possess the mancubus, but I don't really aim. And then here for the slob, I just aim up. Words are just words, idiot.
A good tip for that BFG before the cutscene is to wait until the floor starts to lower before readying the BFG.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about your timing. Let me just get rid of these guys. Let me just get rid of one. So with
Unmaker.
these guys are running so fast towards you that the reason I'm not just lock on bursting directly is because sometimes the rocket will go around him. So that's why slob first and then just do this. So that I don't have that issue. If you get the mank, you literally just dump nades, right, and slob them to death. It's almost easier and safer. That's why I don't really think about it when I'm going for it. When you're killing the final spirit, just try and stand over here by Sam. You can actually dash while microwave beaming, so you can actually get onto this lip over here, clear him, and then immediately hit punch right after it dies. Sometimes you'll burn a blood punch if that's the case. In this phase, we're just going to all right. We're just gonna get it back. So this is the hard part. You want to be using Desperate Punch, so we're actually going to hurt ourselves here. While we're doing so, just make sure to hit that guy. So at about 80, we're going to switch to micro missiles. Make sure this guy is maintained. And then we want to go for about 60 and a bit. Oopsie.
Desperate Punch is supposed to be activated by 75 health and below, but this patch it's kind of bugged because it counts it from 65 or below instead.
So now this is very scary, although for some reason that guy's bugged. So we're just going to dodge stuff, make sure.
Oh, yeah,
I have no target on?
Yeah, you have no target.
XD.
XD.
And now I'm dead. It's fine. I'm going to keep going. It's fine. There's actually no risk here. Oh, there's risk. I got the phases wrong. I panicked. So it's very easy for you to die here. This is why Desperate Punch is very scary. Up there. Normally I'll have no wait, where are the meatballs? There we go. Normally I'll have no armor, so it took me a little longer to set up Desperate Punch here. But it's actually not nearly as scary as I'm making out to be. I'm failing a lot here. Oopsie.
As long as you know when exactly the meatballs are gonna be out of stagger, and as long as you're keeping watch on them, this phase should be any problem.
So my sound is a little quiet here. So now we do the jumping phase. Turn around, please. Oh boy, I missed. Silliness. It should still be fine, actually.
Also, a good thing to note is that at the end of this phase, you want to be standing at the platform that's closest to Sammer.
Yeah, right here.
Right on this platform. You'll know which.
Turn out energy shield. Punch, punch. Drop on the mega here, and then charge D-blade. Aim here, and then right when starts turning black, let go. And that'll hit this pain elemental.
You'll know it hits when the pain elemental does the faltering animation.
Yeah. Make sure it hits directly if you can. And almost dead, pretty much.
You can BFG SSG him and he dies. If you get the
D-blade. It depends on how well the BFG does.
For me, it like almost all the time. If you get the D-blade, it's just that much damage.
Yeah. Now, the key there, the thing that's important here, is that this fight is way less scary if you get this D-blade. If you get this D-blade down here, where you fire it, and get him, then the fight's way less scary. The pain elemental dies almost immediately after you BFG. But if you don't, then you're going to have to spend a bunch of rockets on this. and then you're gonna have no rockets for this guy. And with UN, one of the best ways to stay alive is to just be fast. So that's why this is very scary. I'd recommend practicing the D-Blade very much so, because that's probably what's going to save your life the most, even compared to just like running around with energy shield and learning all that stuff. Because then after that, you're going to have to fight this Bloodmaker if you don't kill this guy really quickly to get enough rockets back to be able to kill this guy. Blood punching is very scary against these people. Very, very, very scary. Because it can screw up, your shield can evaporate really quickly, it's not infinite HP, and ideally if the Bloodmaker behaves, then it'll pop up and you'll be able to get enough ammo. If not, don't be afraid to just chainsaw, run, just keep running, and then reevaluate and continue your slob. Alright? That's how you kind of want to do it. Now it'd take a long time for me to redo this fight, so just rewatch the way I did it. But yeah, after that, I think that's it. I think that's pretty much the run. Is there anything we missed?
I don't think so.
Oh, in higher patches, I think it's easier for you to do the
Right.
fight.
In higher patches, there is the respawn time of both the Dread Knight and the Pain Elemental was increased heavily, to the point where I would suggest that if you have one BF that because you're coming in here with 2 BFG, I suggest BFGing before the phase starts instead of afterwards, to combo it with a D-Blade, because then what you can do is their spawn time is so large that if you BFG them before the phase starts and kill both the Dread Knight and the Pain Elemental, you can actually get both spirits before any of them have a chance to possess any heavy demons.
So just imagine I just double punch Sam, pick up the mega, I drop down here, or maybe even up here, and then right as a screen starts to turn black, BFG, and then the game will respawn you up here. Meme beam him,
and they die.
Runs over. I think that's it.
I believe that is it.
Well, do you want to close things? I'll close things out. Thank you all for watching. Oh, you want to close it out?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you all for coming in. I apologize for the fact that I had to leave in the middle of it, but as you can see, Drake here is absolutely amazing and doing and explaining all the things. So you should absolutely go check him out on twitch.tv/DrakePHOSE. And watch his...
You should go check out Quewe at twitch.tv/Quarth, what is it,
234. If you wanna watch any of these runs done live, full speed, with all the risks and all the fails and all the cool shit, you go to speedrun.com and you should see Drake at the top of the UN leaderboards and me at the top of the classic leaderboards.
2 elite players teaching young nerdlings how to play video games.
Cool. Hey. Great
Hello,
to
Retro.
y'all. Any closing words, or y'all just finish that?
No, we're good. Thank you all for watching. You have a nice day.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, Rytro, for making this possible.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/ModernStoom Speedrunning. Check out our SRC. Check out any of the top runners for more additional strats. We love you all. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.